Hello, hello. Please tell me if I've got sound, if you can hear me. Welcome to the midweek reboot. My name's Mayan, and I'm really glad that you're here, whether you're joining live or watching this later. This is a pause for the middle of the week, and I'm not sure how's your week been so far. Drop it into the chat. So we have not had the chat. We've not had this live for the last 2 weeks. I've been down with the flu, but now I'm better. Life happens, but I'm here, and it's lovely that that there's people joining me. Tell me how you're feeling. How is this week treating you? And what have you been up to? So this week, let me just share my screen. This week, the topic is I feel stuck whilst everyone else is moving ahead. And this is a topic that I planned 2 weeks ago when I thought, we'll be doing this live. So I put that on hold, and I didn't want to cancel this topic because it's an important topic. And I'll tell you why just now. Just stick with me. I'll tell you why as to why I chose this topic. And there's a personal story as well that I'll share. Welcome, Yesh. Welcome, Kalisha. Oh, Yesh. Sorry that you're tired and sick. I hope you feel better. It seems like this flu is making its rounds. And Kalisha, it's been a great week. That's wonderful that you've had a great week. And that's good to hear the positive take as well on the week. Um, so yes, I planned this topic before I got ill, and it's I feel stuck whilst everyone else is moving ahead. And I thought it's an important topic because we always tend to compare, and you might be feeling stuck, and you're not alone. If that's how you feel, you're not alone. Many people feel they're working hard, they're doing the right things, and they're being responsible. But when they look around, everybody else seems to be moving ahead. They've got promotions, new jobs. You see it on LinkedIn, on social media. People are starting businesses and they're getting recognized as well. They're being exposed to opportunities. People are earning more, they're changing roles, and they're building things. And here you are, you feel as if you're stuck, you're going nowhere slowly. And you know what? This comparison is not just a social media problem, it's a professional pressure that many people feel. And that's because we can see the lives of people, they highlight reels on social media. And it's not only when you visit them or when you have a meeting, but you see their highlight reels on various platforms and you can see them progressing. And then you think, but what's happening to me? I am being left behind. Even though I do the right things, I don't seem to be progressing. And you tend to compare the promotions, the salaries, the titles, the visibility that people get. And how about LinkedIn? If you're on LinkedIn, put it into the chats. Do you see other people progressing as well? Especially on LinkedIn, People are getting promoted, starting new things, starting new businesses. And I see this all the time. The businesses, the people seem to be progressing, especially on YouTube. And people seem to be very successful. You're able to, people also compare, professionals compare who is ahead, who's doing better, who is successful. And it's our perception of how people are doing. So it is a real professional pressure point. And you know what? That starts impacting our confidence. It chips away at our confidence because we're not doing as well as others. We might have started the same time, but we are not progressing as we'd like to progress. Yesh says, I don't follow people on social media so as not to be triggered or get depressed. That's such an important point because the thing is, we see one shot of a person, the highlight reel of a person on social media, and that's what we compare with. But that's not their whole life. That's one aspect of their lives. So, yes, if you don't want to be triggered, if you don't want to be depressed or feel like you're behind, it's helpful not to to look at social media from that lens. There's healthy comparison, and we'll also talk about that just now. So, my question to you, and you can drop it into the chat. Have you ever felt like you are working hard, but you're not moving forward? Put that into the chat. Have you ever felt like you're working hard, but you're not moving forward? You're doing all the right things, but you feel like you're stuck. And if you've ever felt that way, please share with us in the chat. And if you want to share some detail about it, do that as well. So, this is what the situation looks like in real life. You might be in the same job for a few years. And that's not a bad thing because if you're in the same job, you're building depth. But sometimes when we look at it, we feel as if we're stuck. And whilst you're in that same job, others are changing roles. But sometimes when you change roles, you're not able to build depth, right? So So it doesn't help to just compare yourself to another person because they're changing roles, but they're not building that depth. You might be in the same job for a few years, but you're building that depth. LinkedIn, there's LinkedIn promotions everywhere. Congratulations to X on their new role. Congratulations to Y on their new role. And you see that people that you worked with, people that may have reported into you, seem to be ahead of you. Then there's people starting businesses, and young people are so successful. So we have nothing against young people being successful. But when you're comparing yourself in your 30s, 40s, 50s to a 20-year-old, to a 17-year-old who started their business on YouTube and they're so successful, then you wonder, now, where am I going wrong? Then there's also friends and colleagues and peers, they're earning more. And how do you know they're earning more? Because when they earn more, then they live a different kind of lifestyle. And you judge by the outer as well. There's AI making people feel behind. I'm not sure about you, but the way things are changing, it's so fast. With AI, you have to try and keep up. Actually, I was thinking about doing a prompt to ChatGPT to provide me with ways that I can keep in par with AI development. How can I be ensure that I am ahead of the curve or on in par as well? And what are the platforms that I can learn from? But AI makes people feel behind. And how about learning new skills and feeling overwhelmed? I'm not sure about you, but when I'm learning a new skill, I want to have figured it out. Patience is not my virtue. I realize that. But then when you're learning new skills, sometimes it feels overwhelming and you want to have figured it out as in yesterday. That's me. But also, learning is a process. You must give yourself that time to learn. Then you also feel busy, but you're not progressing. And the question over here is, are you busy with the right things? Because you can be busy, but not doing the right things. So that's where we'll be talking about a plan. You are responsible, but you're not advancing. And you're responsible, you're doing the right things. When people require your assistance, you assist them. And you are responsible, but you don't feel as if you're advancing. And then you start questioning yourself. You start questioning yourself as to why am I not moving? And guess what? That leads to your confidence dropping. And you start comparing consistently and constantly. So there's comparing that's positive and there's comparing that's negative. And when you start comparing and it's negative and your confidence drops, then you know that you're going down a negative spiral. And therefore, I like Yesh's comment about, when you start comparing and you use social media, it might trigger you and it might also cause you to be depressed. And you know what? Sometimes work starts feeling heavy. When you start comparing and you feel stuck, that's when work starts feeling heavy. It's a burden. So here's the important thing. Most professionals, they don't feel stuck because nothing is happening. They feel stuck because they don't have a clear plan. And if you're not working towards a clear plan, then you definitely will feel stuck and comparing yourself to other people who's on different paths. And you might feel as if you're not going anywhere. Kalisha says, definitely feels that way sometimes with regards to my business, just not able to get anywhere. Sometimes feels like I'm stuck. And that's so true, Kalisha, that you can feel stuck. But you know what? And I hope today's live will also help because you need to have a plan in place. And when you have a plan in place, as long as you're hitting those milestones that you set for yourself, then there's movement, there's momentum. And also, sometimes you might be doing the foundational things, and that's setting you up for bigger things that's to come. So I promised you that oh, yes, I want to ask you a question before I share my story with you. When you compare yourself to others, what do you usually compare? Do you usually compare salary or perceived salary? Because most people don't talk about their salary, right? So we perceive their salary. So when you compare yourself to others, what do you usually compare? Do you usually compare salary, their titles, their progress that you seeing from the outside, their business, their visibility, or is it something else? What do you usually compare when you compare yourself to others? You can drop it into the chats. So I was going to share with you my story as to what inspired this live. So I noticed I was comparing myself when it came to YouTube. There's certain milestones I want to hit, and I don't seem to be hitting it. So when I watch other people's videos as well, they seem to have everything sorted out, everything figured out. So when I just before I planned this live, I found myself going down a negative spiral of questioning myself. Why do some people seem to be progressing? They've got many views. They also seem to be building a business on YouTube. Me, I've put out a call that I've got reset sessions, calm performance reset sessions. I'm still waiting for people to take me up on that offer. So to be honest, I've been comparing myself as to how do I come across? Why are people not taking me up on this offer? It's free and they will benefit from it. So that made me, and I was looking at specific people that I follow as well. They're doing so well and they've got X amount of sales and they broadcast it on their YouTube videos. And here I am, I'm putting free reset sessions forward and nobody's taking the offer. So it made me stop. Also, what I tend to do as well, I tend to reflect on my thoughts as well. When I act in a certain way, or if I think in a certain way, it also shows, okay, what's going through me at a point in time. So let me reflect on it. And I thought, if I'm going through this on my YouTube journey, then others as well would be going through it in their own journeys. Um, in when you're building your business, when you're a professional, I know I work in the professional environment, and people do compare. You compare with your peers. Now, I thought back when I planned this as well, and I was reflecting. I thought back to my time when I was a permanent employee. At that point in time, I didn't really compare because I had a plan in place. I had a plan and I was hitting those milestones, so I knew there was progress. So that didn't make me compare. Then I moved into becoming an independent contractor. And when I became an independent contractor, you're not comparing with anybody else. Your main aim is to get a project so that you can earn an income, and that's it. You're not climbing the corporate ladder. Although you work in the corporate ladder, although you work in the corporate environment, you're not comparing with other people. You're there just to deliver. So I realized I wasn't comparing myself in those environments. But now in my YouTube journey, because it's new to me, I'm comparing. So that was the impetus for why I chose this topic. Yash says outer progress and lifestyle, as I don't usually have insight into their personal and real circumstances. And that was in a response to my question, what do you usually compare yourself, when you compare yourself to others, what do you usually compare? So it's outer progress and lifestyle. Um, and yes, that, and also that the outer progress and lifestyle, is that not a perception? We're perceiving what their progress is like. But also, I want to just talk about the mechanics of comparison, and it'll speak to some of those things that you mentioned, Yesh, about the outer progress and lifestyle that you see, uh, and what you possibly compare with. Okay. And so the first thing is, in terms of the mechanics of comparison, our first problem is inside versus outside. Your inside is what you comparing. You've got the full picture of your inside, what's happening in your world. And you're comparing to what you're seeing on the outside and their outside. You might see their promotion, their success, the business that they might have, um, even their salary. You might even compare that. And titles. People are moving up the ranks so quickly. Then, if you're on YouTube or on social media, you might see how many followers they have, the visibility people have. But actually, we don't see the stress that they might be feeling, because people don't really talk about that, right? The stress or the debt that they may be going into. What are the failures? And when I put this point down as well, failures, I was reminded of the book when I read Elon Musk's book, and he spoke about, the many times that, to launch the rocket, it took 3 times, and he used up all of his income, and he also had to get investors in, and each of those attempts were a failure. We don't see that. And it was only the fourth time, and he went into much more debt as well. And the fourth time was only the successful time of launching the rocket into space. But we don't see those failures. We don't see how he used to sleep in the office days on end, day a day into the night, into the day. He'd work nonstop. We don't see that. Now we just see the Elon Musk that's so successful, but we don't see the time, the effort, the worry, the drive behind his success. We just judge based on what we see. Then there's also luck. Some people might have come into a certain environment at a certain time, and it was a good time. There were opportunities that were open to them, and they were able to run with those opportunities. Then there might be support as well behind the scenes. We see people, one individual really making it, but sometimes they have that support to actually get them to where they are. Also, there's timing. Is it the right time? The sacrifices that people put in. We don't really see the sacrifices that they put in. Also, people don't talk about their insecurities. What is actually going through them? What are the doubts that's going through them, that's plaguing them? What are their fears? People don't talk about this. So, therefore, when we're comparing, and this point was, you're comparing your full story, you have a full view of your inside, and you're comparing to their outside. What are you seeing on the outside? And that picture, it's not full information about their lives. You have full information about your life, but with partial information about their lives. So it's not really a fair comparison, is it? So comparison can motivate you, but if you don't manage that comparison, it can destroy your confidence. When I realized I'm going down a negative spiral, in terms of comparison on YouTube. I just caught myself and said, I need to get back to what matters. Follow my plan, put the right building blocks into place. And you know what? The right people will come to you at the right time. And you know what? You're watching this. I'm so glad that you're on this live. And maybe something, a small nugget, might change some a way that you see yourself, the way that you see your journey, or it might inspire you to put a plan in place. Comparison problem number two, there's different timelines. People have different risk tolerances. So Elon Musk, he threw everything at his rockets to make that work. Some of us, our risk tolerance does not allow that. We won't throw everything into our business or everything, all of our time into whatever endeavor we're working at. So we all have different risk tolerances. We all have different opportunities that's given to us or that's open to us. Or sometimes there's opportunities, but we don't have the eyes to see it as an opportunity. Sometimes it's our fear that might hold us back. Sometimes we are worried about the naysayers. What would others say about us? So we don't grab those opportunities. People have different responsibilities. We work in different industries. Some industries, it's growing fast. So you have those opportunities. You can take those opportunities. Then there's also different goals. We're working at different goals with different goals. And you know what? We all have different personalities. Some people can just talk and they wouldn't need, for example, this live, they wouldn't need to prepare for the live. I would need to prepare for the live, know what I want to talk about, and instead of just going in cold and just speaking. But some people can speak off the cuff and they come out so natural. So we have different personalities. And it doesn't make one personality good and the other bad. It's just different personalities. We have different strengths and there's different timelines. So for me, in my 50s, I might have a sense of urgency of wanting to get things done. So therefore, I'm also impatient with myself. A younger person might, who's growing their career, might say, okay, I will learn and I will also take a job that's where I volunteer and I learn in the process. I might not have that younger person might not have financial responsibilities, so they can afford to do that. An older person might have financial responsibilities, or vice versa. The younger person might have the financial responsibilities and they would want to make a go at this, whatever the opportunity might be. So there's different timelines. And you know what? A key thing, and I was thinking about this today and I put this point down. We have different backgrounds. And not everyone they're starting at the same point. We're all starting at different points. And our backgrounds also, you might have taken it might have taken you so much to get to where you are. So you must appreciate where you are. And you can't compare with somebody else that might have been privileged and they're starting at a higher point. So also take our backgrounds into play because that also determines, where we are and where we're going to. And remember, we're not running the same race. Even though you're in the same company, you're on your own journey. So you are comparing your path to someone else's path, and they're on a totally different timeline and with different rules. And you know what? Again, if you're comparing, that's destroying your confidence. So don't compare, because we're on different timelines, different paths. You follow your path. But the important thing is we need to have a plan. And that's what I'm going to get to just now. Comparison problem number three is you place pressure on yourself, but you have no direction. So I love this. Um, I had some slides and some pictures for you guys, and I forgot to put it up. And this slide is basically, this picture is basically showing us that we're all on different timelines and we're all following our own paths. Even though you might be in the same environment, you might be in the same company, you might be in the same business, you might be in the same family, you might be on YouTube, but we're all on other social media platforms, but we all have our own journeys, we're all on our own paths. And this slide and this picture speaks to pressure without direction. You're one person, but there's so many options that's available, and there's so many things that's open, that there's so many options that's open to you. But if you don't have a plan, then you're lost. So, comparison, yes, it makes you feel behind. It makes you feel slow. It makes you feel as if you're not good enough. Like, for example, myself, and when I was comparing myself in the YouTube world, as if I'm not good enough, I'm slow, I'm behind. You might even feel panicked. You know, you're running out of time. You worried about what's to come. So that's the pressure that you're placing on yourself, and you feel stuck. But this comparison, it does not give you a plan. It does not give you direction. It doesn't give you strategy. It doesn't give you the next steps. So what are you doing? So pressure without direction, you're actually utilizing your energy, and you're wasting your energy, because you're in this loop of being worried and panicked and stuck and feeling behind, and it's all of these negative energy and all of these negative emotions and feelings, but it's not driving you forward, and you get exhausted, right? So that comparison, it creates pressure, but it does not create direction. And pressure without direction, that further destroys your confidence. And when you don't, and I'm harping on the point of confidence, because when you feel stuck, your confidence goes down. And when your confidence goes down, you don't feel as if you can do, you don't give your best, you don't produce your best, you actually stall, you actually fall behind. So confidence is so important. If you have confidence, you can, it's the right attitude, then you build on that. My question to you, when you compare yourself to others, do you feel motivated or do you feel discouraged? You can put it into the chat, because I want to make a distinction over here of positive comparison versus negative comparison. So, do you feel motivated or do you feel discouraged? Yes, Yesh says, I don't do it often, but when I do, I usually feel discouraged. Yeah. And that's good that you don't compare often. Yes, it's important not to compare often. And when you do, and if it discourages you, then it's important to identify that. But my point of view here is with positive versus negative comparison. You can compare yourself to another person and you can feel discouraged. But you can compare yourself to a person and look at what's working for them. How are they going about it? How are they, for example, on YouTube? If I look at a video, I look at now I'm consuming more deliberately and intentionally. I won't just consume and say, and compare myself to the person more often than not. I will look at what are they doing that I can learn from. Are they speaking in a certain way? Are they doing something differently? How can I bring that into my YouTube channel, into my journey? So I look at it from the lens of how can I learn from them? If there's somebody in your workplace and you admire and you see something that they're doing that you actually admire, see how you can learn from them. Ask them, take them out for a coffee, learn from them, and then you can bring that into your life, into your work life, and see how that can improve how you do things. So that's positive comparison where you're learning from the person, you're taking from them, and you implementing it and seeing how that can work for you, as opposed to negative comparison where it takes you down the rabbit hole of why am I not like that? Why am I not succeeding? But you're not seeing the full picture, as opposed to having a going down that rabbit hole of negativity. Let's look at what we can learn from others. So the next part is let's look at a way we can reset and rebuild. So if comparison is making you feel stuck, the solution is not to stop comparing completely, because I told you there's positive comparison. But how do you build a plan for your own life? Because once you build that plan, then when you compare, it becomes information and not you feeling insecure and uh, your confidence dropping. So let's look at a calm progress plan. The first thing is direction. You would you need to ask yourself these questions. Where do I want my life or work to be in the next 3 to 5 years? Where so think about it, visualize the life, the work life and your broader life that you want in the next 3 to 5 years. Now we're not talking about the title, we're talking about direction. Do you, for example, want more freedom? You want more flexibility? Do you want more income? Do you want less stress? Do you want to be in a leadership role? Do you want to consult? Do you want to build a business? Do you want to be a specialist? Do you want to specialize in something? Do you want to work remotely? Do you want to teach? Do you want to help develop strategy? So you need to see what do you want for your work life in the next 3 to 5 years. And then you look at yourself and ask yourself those questions from those various dimensions. Now, for example, myself, I wanted more freedom. I want the freedom to be able to work or do the type of work that I want to work at. I want to also build a future, especially in this AI world. How can I set myself up for the future way of work? So, therefore, I'm building this YouTube channel on the side. I also understand the the difficulties that professionals go through because I've been in the corporate world for nearly 30 years. I engage with people. As a change manager, I understand what people are going through. I run focus groups, so I understand the issues that a professional goes through. So I thought that this YouTube channel will be a great platform for me to share some of my learnings as a change and transformation specialist, and also if I can help people individually. So that's what I wanted, and that's the picture that I painted for myself for the next 3 to 5 years. Yesh asks a good question. How do you catch yourself if you are going down a comparison spiral? And here I would say it goes back to when you're comparing, are you, when you, and you know that you're looking down, you're looking at somebody else's life and you're assessing their life. When you're looking at them, is it bringing your confidence down? Then you know it's a negative spiral. When you're saying, they're so much ahead of me and I'm not, what am I doing wrong? If you're asking, what am I doing wrong, from the perspective of what can I put right, what can I put it down in my plan, then that's positive. But if it has negative feelings, it makes you feel bad about yourself, then you know it's negative. It's a negative comparison spiral that you're going down, and that's when you catch yourself. Instead, ask yourself, what should I do differently? What can I learn from this person? This person seems to be making it. If you have that relationship, and also you can engage with people. I really admire X about you. I would love to have a coffee, and if you can share with me what you're doing, so that can maybe inspire me in my own life and help me with my plan. You'll be surprised at what people would share if you get them into the right environment and with the right energy you're asking it. It's not like, oh, I want to know what you're doing because I want to do it as well and I want to be better than you. Can you see it's a different approach? If you ask it with the right attitude, people will share with you. The second thing about the calm progress plan is identify what skills you will need in the future. So, first, we identified what direction we want our lives to take. The next thing is let's identify what skills we need in the next 3 to 5 years. Okay. And then we can build out a plan. So, for example, some skills on AI and technology, I realize things are changing so drastically, so quickly that I personally I want to learn on AI. And therefore, I told you the prompt that I'm going to engage on with ChatGPT is help me identify what platforms I need to be on and how best I can improve my AI skills, because that's important. And I need to learn it as well. And you need to give yourself time to learn. What if I need to build my skills? Are those leadership skills? So, what qualities do I want to build? Are they communication skills? Even speaking on this live as well. At first, I was nervous, and over a couple of lives, then your confidence builds as well. So, what communication skills do you require, even on doing videos and speaking into the camera? That needed me to learn and develop the skills talking into the camera. So, and yes, I've got a long way to go, but each time it becomes easier. What strategies do you need to put into place? What finance do you need? What data do you need to get better at public speaking, at writing, at coaching, at negotiation, project management? So you need to identify what skills will help you, will aid you in the direction that you want to take, and put that down. Don't don't just play it by ear. It means planning. And when we have a plan, we have a direction as well. Then the next thing is experience. It's not what courses do I need to take, it's what experience do I need. Do I need, as a professional, do I need to lead a project? Do I put up my hands to lead a project? I might not be um, at that point where I can lead a project. But if you feel 80% there, put up your hand. The 20% comes with actually doing it. So sometimes you have to start even before you feel you're ready. Do you need to change jobs in order to get the experience? Do you need to volunteer? Do you need to start a side project? Do you have to manage people or even present to executives? So, how can you build this experience? Do you start a YouTube channel? Do you go onto other platforms? Do you write articles? And here again, volunteer. Do I volunteer into the area that I want to go into? I might be having a 9 to 5, but I can volunteer at the end of the day. As I mentioned, when I wanted to become a consultant and I was moving from the public sector to wanting to be a consultant, I volunteered in the evenings and over the weekend. I got that experience over a year. I finished my master's degree, and that's when companies took me seriously. So what do you need to do? How can you volunteer your skills? How can you volunteer your time to get the right skills, to get the right experience, so that actually helps you into the field that you want to go into? What consulting work do you want to do? Do some consulting work. Maybe do it pro bono. Do it for free. You get that experience. Teach something, build something. So, experience builds careers more than courses do. So, if you're in the thick of things and you're learning from others, you're shadowing them, you learn so much from them. And as I said as well, with YouTube, I treated each video as a learning opportunity. Yes, I'd get frustrated with myself when I don't get it right, when I was learning the equipment and I cut off my head as well, and I'd only get part of my face. But those are stories that I can now share because I learned from it. Then the fourth one is your income streams. What salary do you want to earn? Do you want to do consulting? Do and earn income from the consulting or coaching or speaking or even writing, doing up a course, and you might be good with something. You can teach others as well. Do you want investments, business? So identify the income streams. And What I've learned as well is you can't just rely on your salary. Now we have to have diversified income. As I've learned from getting ill, you- because I got ill doesn't mean I stop working because I'm dependent on the salary that I get. So I need to work in order to earn my salary. Now, for your life in 3 to 5 years, you don't want to just depend on your salary. Is there other income streams that you want to look at? And then look at your timeline. What can I realistically do in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months? Not 10 years. Start with those 12 months and be realistic of what you can do in the 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months, and put that plan together. And I'll just repeat it over here as well. In terms of your plan, look at the direction you want your life to take in the next 3 to 5 years. Then you look at the skills that will help you to move in that direction to build that life in the next 3 to 5 years. What experience, what tangible experience that will help you to move in that direction? And even if it means volunteering, then do that. What income streams do you want? Not just one income stream, but it might be a diversified income stream. And then bring it down to 12 months, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. As long as you're doing something, as long as you have the milestones, the things that you're hitting, then you're on track. I've got some reflection questions for you. And think about this. If you need to play this live again, do that. But here are the reflection questions that you need to ask yourself. And I'll go through this slowly. Who am I comparing myself to? And is that actually a fair comparison? Am I comparing my whole life to someone else's highlight reel? What I'm seeing on social media about them, or what I might be perceiving about them in the work environment? Am I actually stuck, or do I just not have a clear plan yet? What would progress look like for me in the next 12 months? What skill, experience, or project would move me forward this coming year or this year? Am I busy or am I building something? If I if I stopped comparing for a year, what would I focus on building? And what is one step I can take in the next 3 months that moves my life forward? So, those are some reflection questions that I would, if you've got time, reflect on them. But the key thing is, out of it, for us to have momentum, we need to have a plan in place. So, if you feel stuck whilst everyone is moving ahead, the problem is not that you're behind, it's that you might be measuring your life without a plan. Do you really have a plan? If you have a plan, please put it in the chat before we end this live. I'd love to test. Do you have a plan? Do you have a concrete plan for the next 3 to 5 years of your life? Because remember, if you don't have a plan, even slow progress, even if you don't have a plan, then you're not going anywhere. But if you have a plan, even if you progress slowly, that's progress, and that would be great, because if you're hitting those milestones, then you're putting your plan into play. So I've got responses: no plan, no, I don't have one. If there's anything that you take out of this today, out of this live, put a plan in place. Take some of the learnings that you picked up from this live, put it into place. Look at where you want to be 3 to 5 years. And as I said, look at your skills, your experiences, the timelines. What experience do you need? And also break that down into 3, 6, and 12 months, into clear milestones. And if you have that plan, even if you progress slowly, it will still be progress. And you know what? Momentum builds and your confidence builds when you start seeing the progress. And remember, confidence comes from knowing you are moving in your own direction, not somebody else's. You can use people as motivators, but don't go down that negative spiral. Thank you for that question. How can I contact you for one on one sessions? So thanks for asking that. There's the calm performance reset sessions. And as I said, I'm offering a few free calm performance reset sessions. They're 45 minutes of structured conversations where we look at what's creating pressure in your work and how you can move forward clearly and sustainably. It's a conversation that we'll have, a 45-minute structured conversation, and that will help you think clearly, put things into play that will help you progress in a more sustainable way. The link is in the description below. You can click on that link and book yourself a session. And thank you for asking that question. I hope that this discussion, this live, resonated with you, that you got some value out of it. If you don't have a plan, that's not the end of the world. It's rather now, better late than never. And start look at it in a very methodical way and build on the plan as well. I know I want to retire in a couple of years' time, but now I'm putting the plan in place where I can do something that allows me that flexibility, that freedom I was talking about. And hence, I'm building this YouTube channel on the side. So that's my plan going forward. And that's how I'm building on that slowly. Even the coaching on the side as well that I'm building. So you can see how I'm slowly building this, and I'm using myself as an example to show you how it can be done. Thank you so much for joining me on this live. Wow, it's already 1 minute to 9 o'clock South African time. So we completed the hour. I hope you got value from it. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time, same place. And remember, as always, you matter. Thank you. Bye for now.